When you think back to your first roommate or your last roommate, do you have fond memories? Or do curse words suddenly pop into your head? Are you currently friends, or did things end on bad terms? Could you picture yourself marrying that person? Well, that's just what I did. And my answer to whether or not I would have been able to see myself marrying him back then just depended on the day you asked me. Chris and I just celebrated our 5th wedding anniversary in June, and we've been together for over 8 years. The true test of a relationship, though, comes after your first child comes into the world. Our little Stella will turn 3 next week, so I guess Chris passed that test. As Stella's 3rd birthday rapidly approaches, I'd like to take some time to pay tribute to the man behind it all. A man who excels in his career just to provide, but still manages to be present in mind and body to meet all of his family's needs. When I first decided to move to North Carolina, my mother kept saying I was moving to meet the love of my life. I proceeded to roll my eyes because that was the last thing I was after. However, my initial living situation was temporary, so I replied to an ad to share a house with 2 people. Luckily for me, both roommates approved of me, and I moved in the very next day. Chris was one of those roommates, and we lasted a whole 3 days as roommates before our first date. I was cool as a cucumber because I had myself convinced it wasn't a date. It was just a friend showing me around the new city. Boy, was I wrong. It was the most perfect date I've ever had. We both knew it was a terrible idea to date your roommate. And I think he had a pretty good idea how crazy I was in general. But we both decided to put everything on the line and risk it all for love. And look who has the last laugh. We're living a life of love. Chris wasn't a native of North Carolina. He moved here about 13 years ago with his friend John from Los Angeles, California. John couldn't handle the southern life though, and he moved back to California after just a couple of years. Chris decided to stick around though, working first as a repo man, and then after meeting me, moving into a warehouse manager position at a local heavy-duty truck parts company, something with a little more stability and, a lot less danger. Shortly thereafter, he proposed on a flight out to Los Angeles. I thought he was going to try to make me move out there, but I think he realized he's stuck here in North Carolina now. After that, we followed the plan. Marriage, house, child. Then I decided to throw a wrench in everything and go back to school. Thank goodness he supported me. He encouraged me every step of the way and makes sure I have time to do my homework, even if that means an extra dose of cooking or cleaning for him or leaving work early to go pick up Stella so I can go to class. I think he secretly likes the hiss of the frying pan. As with most couples, this wasn't the only wrench in our plan. I've been struggling with illness while still juggling school and work and a toddler, which means Chris has had to step up even more in our lives. Now, it isn't just additional cooking and cleaning on his plate. He really has to be there for me and Stella. And some days that means doing everything because I just can't. Other days, he just listens while I rant about my frustrations when my body and my mind won't cooperate. No matter what kind of day it is, most of the time he must be the pillar that holds our family up. And he never hesitates to be there for me. He never complains or makes a big deal out of it. Just like the typical man in a movie, he's strong and silent. Unless, of course, I'm feeling blue or Stella's having a rough day, then he won't hesitate to be silly and do whatever it takes to make us both giggle. As you are all close friends and family here, I know that Chris has been there for you at one time or another, even if you didn't ask. It's clear that he doesn't just work to provide for his family or spend time making sure he's present for his family. He would do the same for all of you in a heartbeat. So let's raise our glasses in a toast to the man of the evening. May we always be blessed with him in our life and feel the warmth of his heart wrapped around us.